I'm giving you new capacity for my presence for 2025. I'm giving you new capacity for worship, a new capacity for my word, a new capacity for the house of the Lord, a new capacity for the things of God, a new capacity of faith, a new capacity to believe my promises. He said, I'm changing some bulbs, I'm changing the wiring, I'm recalibrating, I'm resetting. For some of you, God says 2025 is going to be a brand new reset. I'm hitting the factory reset button in your life. I'm hitting the factory reset button in your bodies. I'm hitting the factory reset button in your minds. You're going to forget everything you ever knew about anything else. And it's almost like you're starting fresh again. I'm believing God like a brand new soul, like a brand new baby, like a brand new convert. God says, I'm doing a spring cleaning in your life, and I'm removing the clutter that affects your ability to hear me, the clutter that affects your ability to see me. God says in 2025, I want real authentic worship. I want authentic relationships. Apostle Paul said in Timothy, he says, you know what? In these days, people have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. And because of it, they turn away and they create their own balloon. They say, I love God and I serve God and I this. And they create a scenario that validates themselves. He says that spirit calls you to search for truth. But never, you're searching for knowledge, I should say, but never coming to the truth. God says the days of justifying less than full commitment ended with 2024. He says there's a wave coming. There's a wave. There's a tsunami of God's glory. He says anything that's not anchored, anything that's not connected, anything that's not secured will be swept out. Anything that's not connected, anything that's not secure, anything that's not pure, anything that's not true, he says you'll be searching for knowledge, but you will never find the truth. He said this wave is vicious. A vicious wave. Many would believe that they're tied and they're anchored and it's like, can't survive the wave. God says in 2025, batten down the hatches. Anything that could shake in your life, secure it. Anything that's loose in your life, let it fly. Let the wave of my glory. He says the intensity of the wave of my glory will break down every facade. You know, there are buildings that look strong, and then something happens and you realize that the whole building was just a facade. The wall, everything was just a facade. It didn't really do anything. It says, anything that can't carry my glory will get swept away into the tsunami of my glory. You know, when, for those of you who grew up in the Caribbean, or you grew up near to the coast, or if you've ever been to any beach anywhere, the lifeguards, they put up flags. Especially when there's tide and strong rip currents, they put up flags and they say, these are the red flags. Those swim between here and here. You're at your own, you're swimming at your own peril. God says, in 2025, I have put down my red flags. These are my parameters. If you swim between those two flags, you do it at your own risk. When you violate what the lifeguards tell you, they will try to save you, but they tell you there's no guarantees because you did it for yourself. And God says it's the same in the spirit, because there's a wave coming. And if you want to be certain, stay in the sections that I've marked off for you and your family. If you want to be sure, stay in the safe sections. And they will know that I am God. All those who have created their own versions of the truth and their own versions of who I am, and those who have created their own rules, and there are those who downright have just nullified their belief in me and my existence. He says, I'll have even the atheists come into the church. I'll have even the agnostics come into the church. I'll have those who've been searching truth in other faiths and other religions flock into the church. And they're going to say, I don't know where else to turn. The system I believed in, the horse and the chariot I believed in, failed me. The promises that were made in the campaign that I believed failed me. The stuff I used to see on that YouTube channel I followed failed me. He said, at least those will come because they didn't know before and now they know. He says, but you see those who have fallen away, God says, they continue to be my toughest challenge. Those who know, and don't live out what they know. God says, continue to be my toughest challenge. And he says a wave is coming. Look at somebody and say, check your anchor. 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 Test your anchor. Test it. Don't wait until you're out into the stormy seas to let down your anchor to see if it's working. So we give God thanks and praise. We honor the Lord this morning, this afternoon. We honor the Lord for his goodness. We honor the Lord for his love. We thank God that he has given us a stream of hope. Let me tell you something. When you ask even the experts, there's so much uncertainty about what is going to happen in 2025. Before, you could bet on a certain country, a certain place, a certain town, a certain city, certain state to be secure. You look at the big nations, the US and the UK and Germany and Italy and all the places that make up the G5 and the G20 and stuff. And you used to find solace. When the whole world is looking at impending doom, they look to the big nations for help. And we live in here and we're like, who are we helping? We need help ourselves. And I don't know in recent history if you've ever been in a time like this, where even the helpers, those who are accustomed to give help, need help. Anybody know, like, you know, you're in a friends group, you always have this strong friend. And you know you're in trouble when your strong friend broken. Or you always had the family member who you could go by and say, hey, we're going to cap him a rent till MLN. And you know they won't chase it down for the money. And it gets to a point in time where you go to that family member and they be like, listen, right now I'm about to lose mine too. God says we've entered an era where the nations have no other choice but to do this. Is it that you're bending the knee to acknowledge me, or you're bending the knee to beg for mercy? But you're bending the knee. I wish there was a better way to say that. But I have to say it how God told me to say it. He's like, many will bend their knee in 2025. Why don't you volunteer and worship and bend the knee and pray and bend the knee and pay homage to me? Because many will be begging for mercy. They will be saying, Lord, 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 send mercy. And he'll be like, I don't recognize your voice. Because when things were good, you didn't check for me. The last time I blessed you was the last time I heard from you. Many would say, Lord, remember me. And God is like, yeah, I remember that I blessed you and that blessing destroyed your life. Tell your neighbor, check your anchor. Come on, tell your neighbor, check your anchor. Somebody write that down for me because I need to work on that. So for some reason God is like, we need to talk about that. Check your anchor. 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 Check. Check. Check your anchor. You have to be sure. Don't leave it up for chance. You know, sometimes, we're in this era now where we get alerts from our bank accounts. But they even with all the alerts and stuff, sometimes you ain't log into your account for a whole month and something, and you write some checks and you think everything good. And when you check the account, you'll be like, wait now. You start pulling out the calculator. Anybody ever pull out the calculator to see just in case? Well, all good. I'm telling you. There are times in your life when you have to pull out the calculator and be like, well, this have to go out, that have to go out. And God says, that is how you must check and test your faith in me. Every day, set up alerts, like your bank have alerts, like a credit bureau have alerts. Watch me, we have alerts to everything. A check come out, a check come in, a credit check, somebody do something, just beep, 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 your phone just starts lighting up, your emails, texts, everything. And God says, I want you to be that vigilant on your anchor. He says, those of you whose anchors are secure and who are walking in my ways, there's not much that you have to worry about, you know. Except that you're carrying the burdens for the rest. Who need to be on this side. And there's some of us, myself included, that in 2025, God is about to show himself mighty and show himself strong. The Shekinah glory of God is coming to take residence in your life. Shekinah comes from Shekinah, he who dwells. God says, I want to dwell, I want to come, I want to sit, I want to dwell. Dwell, there's a difference between being a guest and dwelling. When somebody dwells, they belong there. They belong there. When I go to my parents' house, I could open the fridge and take whatever I want outside that fridge and eat it. If you have a guest, they could go in your fridge. They can't come in the kitchen. You have to stay in them quarters. You see that couch? That's where you stay in. The bathroom is here. Don't wander nowhere else. In fact, when guests come, we just close all the doors to other rooms. Mind your business. And most times you put them by the first room, by the door. So that's all they see. And many of us have limited ourselves with God to the first room by the door. And God is like, I have plenty more to show you. And 2025, God says, I'm about to do some demonstrations of my glory. That will break the back of the kingdom of darkness. Masakata. I'm going to do some nature-defying things with my people. Masekandarabasoko. Nasakandarabasoko. We don't want the kind of quiet miracles that nobody else. We're talking about the thunderings and lightnings. We want to be in places where eyewitnesses will say, hey, I saw that man. That man, his name is Deon. I saw him. And all I saw was a white light flash, and then he was there again. My car was about to go off the road. I see a bright light, and before I know it, I'm 10 miles down the road. That type of experience I'm talking about, that we need in 2025. The kind of experience that could stop God's judgment from coming to your house. Everybody getting judged. And your house still thriving. We'll continue this next week. You know, there's that song that guy wrote. and says, I need your glory. Show me your glory. Show me your glory. Came out of Exodus 33, which we didn't get to go to, where Moses said, God, show me your glory. And the question is, how could you ask God to show you your glory when Moses was in front of the burning bush? Moses dropped a rod and became a snake. Moses see God in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. He see God do that. He experienced that. And he still say, God, show me your glory. It means there's dimensions beyond God's presence. And God says, I am moving my people beyond just wanting my presence. I want my people to see my glory. 2025 is heralding the return of my glory. The Shekinah glory. The whole earth shall be filled with the knowledge of my Shekinah. And that is going to happen in church and with church people. They will know. You know what knowledge is? They would know. Knowledge is accepted, standard practice that nobody could deny. That's what knowledge is. And that's why when people try to confuse, they try to set you up, they confuse you with the truth and make you think what you know is not the truth. That's why when the devil came to Eve in the garden, she knows the truth. God said, don't eat it, else you will die. You know what the devil tell her? Will you surely die? And so much of our believers have fallen from Christ because some serpent from hell tell them, will you surely die if you do this? Will you surely die? I know you used to be afraid of sin and you think this was sin, but look, you're doing it. Look, you're eating the fruit and you're dead yet. You're sure you will surely die? And God says in 2025, I'm making a return to earth like never before. Holy Spirit have done his thing. No one wrong with that. And God says I've made appearances where I need to make appearances, but I am making a return to earth. Hear me? Hear me well. And just like when God came down to the garden in the cool of the day, and he asked, Adam, Eve, where are you? He says, I'm coming down because 2025 is my cool of the day. And I'm coming down to earth to look for my people. And unfortunately, when I call for some, they will be hiding. He says, I didn't come for confusion. He says, preceding my arrival is the wave of my glory. And I'm removing everything that needs to be swept out. Then I will come to my people and I will manifest myself. Anybody ready for the manifestation of God? It's going to scare some of us what God is going to undo. Because we never experienced nothing like this in our life, in our generations. People are going to think we're lying when we tell them how God do it. People are going to try to explain it away. Lord, I thank you for your people. I thank you for your presence. I thank you for your goodness. I thank you for your grace. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your peace. Lord, I thank you for your glory. Lord, I thank you for your presence. I thank you for your manifested presence. I thank you, Lord, that you've sent this word as a forerunner. You've sent this word, Lord, like John the Baptist, Lord, to tell people, prepare the way. Prepare your hearts. Prepare your anchors. Make an election sure. Make a commitment sure. Because the King of Glory is about to make a return to this earth. Because he has some business to attend to. I want it to be clear, I'm not prophesying the return of Jesus. I'm prophesying the return of the Shekinah glory to earth. Because these signs will precede God's triumphant return. The miracles, the signs, the wonders.